loses again. Haaland, stay humble. Stay humble. Stay humble. Brighton. Today, Brighton came from behind and won against Man City. Man City scored in the 23rd minute with a Haaland goal, of course. Then Brighton equalized with João Pedro's goal in the 78th minute, and then Matt O'Reilly gave them a winning goal today. So I think for me today, I'm comfortably saying that Man City is not in the title race for this season. If Man City continues being beaten by small teams like Brighton, Bournemouth, without any red cards or anything, I don't think Man City is good enough to win. Man City is having a problem, and this problem is playing so many games. I think Man City was wise to go from the Carabao Cup. It makes no sense for you to play a lot of games and your players get tired. Today I saw a Man City team that had players that I didn't even know that they play for Man City in their defense. They had Simpson. I don't I don't remember him playing any game. I don't know whether even Kyle Walker was fit today. He played, but he wasn't that effective. We saw actually I don't know what Man City was up to today. Because Man City brought a team that you wouldn't play against any top six team. Because I don't know whether it is Pep that felt like he should he should undermine Brighton, but Brighton today played a very good game. They did what they had to do. They won. They won the game comfortably. They added 9 minutes for Man City to win, and still they didn't do anything because their team was weak today. You couldn't match it with the Brighton game. Brighton had better players than Man City today on pitch. And I've been telling you that this new format of the Champions League cannot allow any top team to compete. You cannot play all those games that are being played right now and still compete in the Premier League. The Premier League needs a team that is stable, that is going to play, not all these matches in succession. You cannot tell me you're going to play hard teams in the Champions League. Come back to Premier League, perform. The next week you're going for the international tournaments, and you want to perform also. It doesn't make sense to me. Man City is losing not because they're not good, just because they are playing so many games that they can't handle. You need a team like the Chelsea team, whereby you have 40 players, whereby you can switch to maintain winning. Man City is a very good side. Everyone can testify to that. But if you want to, if you want to keep winning, you need more players. I don't know how the FFP works, but if any team needs to compete in this era, it needs more players. You cannot tell me you're going to play in the Champions League, play in the Carabao Cup. If the FA is about to start, and you still keep up with everything, you cannot win. There is no way. There is no team that can go unbeaten in this new format of the Champions League, in the new way football is being played. Players don't trust. Players are getting injuries. They are dropping like nothing. If you had the chance to look, let me show you. If I showed you the Man City lineup today, you would also wonder why they didn't play their players just because that is the Man City lineup. Check Haaland. Haaland, of course, he showed up. He played because he was one of the good players. See, Gundogan. See who is this player? Just look at this player. Gundogan, Foden. This guy, I thought this guy had different an injury in the last match. You have this guy from Chelsea. You have this kid playing this role. There is no Akanji. You have Guadi. You have Simpson. I don't know who. I didn't even know who Simpson was until I saw him today. You have Kyle Walker. You have Anderson as your players. Of course, these players. This when a Brighton team that comes to win first plays you, they will be beaten. They were scored because they were fearing Man City because it is Man City. But whenever you play Man City and you see that it's weak, of course you realize it with time. That's why that's why things become ugly for Man City and they had to do substitutes. I don't know why Pep did not bring in Ake. I don't know why he did bring in Akanji. I don't know whether it is just the pride or it's because most of these players have played a lot of games and you can risk them by playing them. I really feel for Man City, but I'm happy. I'm happy as an Arsenal fan that at least now there is a game whereby if we beat Chelsea, we can go against them and we will be back in the title race. I hope Liverpool also loses today. But for today, I don't know what happened to Man City because I've never seen a Man City side that leads and is and a team comes from behind and wins them. This is an effect of the new Champions League format and the way they are setting these international matches. Because you can't tell me that Man City is losing back-to-back games with a good coach, with good players, and whereby the coach feels like resting these players. He's resting these players because he feels like they have played a lot. They have had a lot of minutes. Arsenal has been going through the same thing. You cannot have Saka fit. You cannot have Odegaard fit. You cannot have everyone. Carafiori, these guys are falling because we are playing a lot of matches. Haaland was about to fight in the last minutes because the Brighton guys were not giving him any time to try and score again. They did one mistake. They couldn't repeat that mistake again. Haaland, shame upon you. You're not playing rugby. You don't hold people's shirts like that. No, this is football, and this is the English Premier League. You don't do that. No, this is football, not war. Not war. You don't play like that. If you want to play like that, go and try wrestling. For me today, if Liverpool loses, that means teams like Arsenal, teams like Chelsea are back in the title race, and it's going to be very difficult having teams play with few players. When Chelsea was buying players, everyone thought they were mad. But for me, so Chelsea had a plan whereby they knew they would like to compete for every competition. Chelsea are still in the Carabao Cup. Chelsea, I think, are on top of the Conference League. Chelsea have the mandate to say that they're going to play different players in every match, and these players will still deliver because they have a variety and they have quality. Arsenal has players, but doesn't have a variety of players in every position. Liverpool is still good because the Liverpool. I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it, but the Liverpool guys have not yet got injuries. But when we start having injuries, Liverpool is also going to deteriorate because you cannot play in all these leagues and in all these league matches and you're not tired. You're going to play against an Aston Villa that you're going to play tonight. You're going to play against an Aston Villa that still feels like they should have, or they were cheated by Club Brugge. For me, I think Liverpool may lose or draw today's match, and I hope they draw or they lose because I want it to be fair. Let the teams start competing with each other. With a Man U side that is getting a new coach, a coach that won against Man City in the midweek, I feel like we're going to have a new Premier League. We're going to have new rivalry in the Premier League. We're going to have teams competing to win the trophy. We're not going to have a Premier League that is boring. Each and every week, we're going to have new people coming in to lead the table. I want to see multiple teams try to leading the table, and I want to see a fair winner. I don't want to see weaklings in the Premier League. I want to see what Wolves did today. Wolves had lost so many matches, but it came and won today's match. I want to see teams like Newcastle play against Nottingham Forest, the people that are trying to take their places, and they beat them. If Nottingham Forest is that good, let it prove against Newcastle. Show us that you can beat Newcastle. We shall start respecting you. I know these small sides like Nottingham Forest are only becoming good because Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, all those teams are playing so many matches at the moment. Their players are being called for the national for their national teams to play in those games. That's why we're having so many injuries. Liverpool should better lose, because if it loses today, just know that the Premier League is going to get interesting, more interesting. Arsenal has declined to the sixth position, and Man City is still in the second position because it still it still has good points that can keep it in the top three. But going forward, if it loses another match, I don't think Man City will still hold up. I don't think it will still compete. Man City has a goal difference of 9 goals. It has 23 points. Today, okay, let's analyze today's match, how they played today. So Man City against Brighton. Man City, the stats show that Man City had 15 shots, six on target, six on target, and had a possession of 6-1. That's a very poor possession by Man City. Man City normally has a position of 80, 70. They had 643 passes, and I still feel like this was not good enough for Man City. Say that I know. Man City committed 10 fouls today, and they had three yellow cards, no red card. Brighton had 10 shots on target, 10 shots, 4 on target, 39% possession. They had 41, no, 419 passes, 419 passes. I think this is one of also Brighton's worst games, because Brighton, if you're to beat it, you don't dominate it. Brighton plays one of the best games that I normally watch. They know how to pass. They know how to be in the right places, and I'm not surprised that they beat Man City at their own home, because Brighton is a very strong team, and they also had three yellow cards, meaning they were not that good. Also, you have to note that Brighton were 3 times offside. That means if it wasn't because of the offsides, they would have scored more. Man City only had one offside, and the other thing is that the corners, Brighton has had no corners in the whole game. Man City had four corners. Okay, that means that they tried, but they were not good enough. They couldn't break down Brighton. And this tells you all this comes from what I've been saying. You cannot play all the games. You cannot play all the games that are set in the Champions League, Premier League, Carabao Cup. You cannot play them and still be good. You cannot be good in all those matches. Your players are going for the international break. They are going to still play. How are you going to have a solid team? They're going to come back. Some of them are going to come back with injuries. You cannot compete with teams like Brighton that are not playing in the Champions League, teams that have been resting. When these teams have had the whole week to study you and also can compete with you, because your players are tired. You don't want to force your players on pitch to play against people that have rested. Me, I'll see that these big teams are not going to compete that well. But if you have a team that has so many players like Chelsea, I still feel like you are a favorite in this title race. But if Arsenal wins against Chelsea, then that would be a good thing. It will bring back the competition. The Liverpool game is about to start, and it's only starting in about 6 minutes. But I'm so happy that Man City lost again. Haaland, stay humble. Stay humble. You cannot tell a whole manager to stay humble. You're just a player. Haaland, Haaland. I know when you scored, you felt like you have got back your powers. No, it's not about the powers. It's about people showing you your place where you belong. You're not the best player to have ever played in the Premier League. You cannot tell a whole manager for a side that to stay humble after a match. No, today this was something to teach you that you have to respect your elders. You have to respect teams like Arsenal that have gone an entire season without being beaten. Teams are beaten. I don't know. I don't know why this guy was even opening his mouth to say that stay humble. Stay humble. Do you know what? Haaland, you should stay humble. You're failing to score goals, you're fighting people on the pitch. And I don't know why referees don't give this guy a red card. I don't know whether they fear him because of his height, but each time you feel like you feel like holding people's shirts and pulling them and disrespecting the players, you should get a red card. Stay disciplined, stay humble, Haaland. I know this is going to sound ugly, but you have to stay humble. Play, play the better game that you want to play. Be the best player on the pitch. Without KDB, create your own goals. Then we shall say that Haaland has the right to say stay humble to coaches. These are people that have these are people that have had great careers, played for the biggest teams in the world, and you're telling them to stay humble. How? You're playing for a national team that has not even qualified for the Euros, and you're telling people to stay humble. Haaland, stay up. And today's game, Man City lost it because it was resting players. And resting players just means that Man City cannot risk their players to go and play against a Brighton side that is rough. Akanji was on the bench. Ake was on the bench. They decided to play weaker defenders, and they got punished. Some of these defenders had yellow cards. So there is no way you're going to tell me that Man City was serious about this game without it bringing its best players to play on the pitch. Anyway, it's also good to give other players chance to play, but I feel like today's game, uh, Pep undermined the capabilities of Brighton, and also his players were really tired. That's why I'm so confident that playing on a Sunday is better for a national team, a national and Chelsea team. Because if they play today Saturday, everyone would still be tired. Going for training is tiresome. Traveling away from home is tiresome. So there is no way you can explain to me that a team plays in the Champions League in the midweek, comes back home, comes home, they train and they go away and still come back and win. There is no way. Even if the players are so perfect, they get tired. They get like muscle pulls and things like that. You cannot tell me Man City wanted to be beaten today and lose that gap that had been created, the gap of 8 points from Arsenal. One of the teams that Man City hates these days is Arsenal. They don't want Arsenal to be close to them because with Arsenal, it's a team that feels like they are better than you. So today's match, Man City lost it just because their players were tired. The coach is good. Not It's not because they lost the other match against CP Sporting CP, but it's because these guys traveled to CP. They came back again, traveled to Brighton. I don't know which players. I don't know how the players are going to react to this because Rodri spoke about it until he got an injury. He was like, players need to come to stand up and complain that they are being overplayed, but no one supported him, and players are dropping. There are so many games. I know we love watching football, but the matches are becoming so many in a short period of time. We are going. There is not even resting. Instead of resting, these players are going to be called by their countries to play for their national teams. I don't know where we're going to have a time whereby players are going to spend like a week without being called upon. When they rest for the Champions League, they're going to be called back for the Carabao. And when Carabao ends, they're going to play FA. So I feel like these games should be spaced a little bit. You cannot travel to Portugal, come back, travel to Brighton, and you think you're going to win. You don't have robots playing football. I know Haaland is considered to be a robot, but he's also human. He gets tired. Akanji wasn't played, Ake wasn't played, but they were on the bench, meaning they didn't have injuries, but they were tired. There is that there is a way your body reacts, and the coach looks at you, the manager looks at you, and he says, "You're not ready to play. play today because you're tired. You can't be exhausted and go on the pitch and give 100%. No, not possible. That's not possible. Man City lost today, but I still feel they were still the best team on, or they were still the best team today. They don't deliver. They don't get what the result they wanted, but they are good. They are a good side. They dominated. They did everything, but they couldn't win. They are good players were on the bench. The players they had today weren't their best players. And let no one convince you that Brighton was better than Man City. Brighton were only lucky that the Man City players were on the bench. But this gives other teams a chance to perform better, chance not to complain. I'm going to go for the Liverpool game. I'm going to watch the Liverpool game, then I'll be back with the results and also talk about the Liverpool game. I wish they lose today, but they're at Anfield. They never lose at the Anfield. See you.